What is up, internet world, and welcome back to the channel. Today I bring you the 2023 Mazda CX-50. Sport mode in the Mazda CX-50, 256 horsepower and 320 pound-feet of torque with premium fuel. Build the boost. Ooh, front's lifting. Ooh, front wheel spin. Same transmission as Ian's. Fair. I would say 0 to 60 in about 6.5 to 7 seconds, somewhere around there. No official times yet. Into a corner. It does very good. Like, handling is really good. Yes, it's very smooth, but the handling and turn-in is really good for something like this. Yeah, it doesn't have active suspension. There's nothing tightening up. There's no magnetic ride, but they've done a good job tuning the suspension to make it smooth, yet it handles really good. Just a little bit of body roll, but going into the turns when I'm on throttle is really good and strong and secure. I'm not saying that because, you know, I like the seating position and the way it looks and the height and getting in and out. I'm not talking about that stuff. This is just simply turning into a turn and turning out of a turn. It does a good job. So Mazda is smart because they realize that people are no longer sitting on couches. They are actually exploring the outdoors. So they bring us the CX-50, you know, an SUV/crossover that looks like a car from the front. The CX-50 will only be sold with the iActive all-wheel drive setup with no front-wheel drive model available. You have two choices as far as power plants. You can get the 2.5-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder that makes 187 horsepower and 186 pound-feet of torque with fuel-saving cylinder deactivation. That starts at $37,900. If you want to step up to the turbo model, you get 256 horsepower and 320 pound-feet of torque on premium grade fuel. That starts at $45,350, and that's made it to a 6-speed transmission. So Mazda and Toyota have come together to have a joint venture in building new cars in Huntsville, Alabama, including the CX-50 that Mazda claims has no parts shared with Toyota. And I believe it. Take a look at this front end. It is very bold, strong, edgy, and definitely angular. This front hood sticks up over the actual grille and even this front bumper. It's very aggressive, and I really like it because it's so car-like, but it's a crossover, SUV, whatever sells the nameplate. Speaking of plates, this doesn't have any skid plates, and it's designed to be outdoorsy. How outdoorsy, you ask? Well, it can conquer this little trail. So I'm not one to fall for marketing gimmicks, but the Drive Select actually makes a difference here. You see, when you're in off-road mode, what it actually does is it transfers power diagonally. Yes, when this back wheel spins, it realizes that's way too much craziness, especially when you just take off and you don't want to actually lose more grip. So what it does is it transfers power diagonally. Makes sense. Now, on one hand, I would have much preferred to have a DCT transmission in this thing. However, at least they didn't do CVT. Now, when I had Ian's 6-speed transmission, which is exactly the same as this, I was like, it just needs a quicker shifting transmission, and it's pretty much the same like it is here, until you go off-roading. Then it makes total sense, because it's reliable. Reliability. That's what we need. Reliability. See how capable this thing really is. This is a huge ditch. Oof. 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 Thank God we don't have skid plates. Yes, this thing doesn't have skid plates, and it's so capable. It's amazing. It is amazing. I've done a whole bunch of these things with Audi and their Quattro drive system and all that stuff, and we put the Audis through that, and it makes it through, and they're like, look, a Mercedes-Benz wouldn't have never done this, but I'm in a Mazda, and where are the skid plates, Mazda? You got it. You're almost there. Aftermarket, boys. Skid plates. Money for you. Even though this does have start and stop, it's not shutting off. It has an intelligent start and stop, which I really like, because some cars you get in here, it's always shutting off, on, especially when you take it off-roading. It also does have 360 camera, which I like, because when I have to reverse it in these little tight spots, I can see it with some great clarity. Take a look at the headlights. They are cool, circular, and yes, nice finishes when you look at them in detail. And as you move lower, you have the air vent, and yes, air actually goes through this. They're not totally fake. The back ones are, but not these guys. And as you move along here, you'll see this nice big radar on the bottom. Of course, Mazda has all the safety gadgets you'd expect in a car sold today, except when you put a front license plate here. When you put a plate here, this will cover some of this radar. So I'm interested to see how it actually works. Now take a look at this Mazda logo. The radar is not here. As I mentioned, it's down there. So that is different than the Mazda 3 GT. It also has a camera in the front because this does have 360 camera all the way around. And the graphics and quality inside are primo. Now moving along the side here, it's built on the CX-30 frame. It's not actually built on the CX-5 frame, which is unique because it's a CX-50. But I do really like the side because it is low, wide, doesn't have a tall, like I can look over it, which is kind of weird considering it's an SUV. But check this out. Look at this little cutout in these Audi all-roadish fender flares. They have this line here that actually creates a line all the way down. Now on this CX-50 GT Turbo, you get 20-inch wheels, but you actually get them in 19s and 18s on lower trims. You see, that's important for wheels, but what's more important are the brakes, because on Ian's Mazda, the brakes totally suck. But these guys are bigger, have great pedal feel, and actually stops. Now for those that want to know what color this is called Zircon Sand, and it's brand new for the CX-50, but what's also brand new is the fact that this thing can take 80 pounds of weight when you are driving. Now as far as static, well, let's see if it can handle my weight. So that's a really big point because Mazda wants people to use this for lifestyle, and the attachment and accessories are actually plentiful. They're actually competing against Subaru in that department. So yes, even though this is low, it has a purpose. It's easy to access, and you can fit 3 people, 3 humans can actually sleep in the roof tent on this CX-50. But besides all that, my favorite is the silhouette. I like the look of this thing. I like the angular pieces. I definitely like these fender flares, as I mentioned. And yes, overall on the side, this is my favorite. Now let's talk about the back. Now under the Hofmeister kink in chrome, you have, of course, where you put your fuel. And based on the quality of fuel you put in the vehicle is how much power you get to the wheels. You actually have different numbers. Now on the back here, you will notice the shoulder line does continue and have this cutout of line. It looks like it separates them both, but it's a cool feature because it's just not one flat panel on the back, and I really like that piece. On the back, you have the CX-50 badging. Of course, they've upgraded. It's 10 times better because now it's 50 instead of 5. It is all-wheel drive, of course, and you can tow a maximum of 3,500 pounds. And if you're interested in that, here we go. Now the CX-50 can tow 3,500 pounds, and behind me I have 3,470 pounds, and because I ate extra food today, it's probably closer to 3,490 pounds in total weight. Full belly mic. Now the cool part about this is that you replace your sport mode with trailer mode. So on the screen, I don't have sport mode anymore. When you clearly see on this M drive, when I toggle it, I have off-road, normal, and then towing. Sport is bye-bye. So who cares it has towing mode, but I'll tell you what it does. Because we put weight on the back end squats and the front tires really have less grip. So what they've done is they've made the all-wheel drive system focus its attention on the front, so the front wheels actually have more power. And the steering, you ask? Well, it's actually harder to turn. That gives you the feeling of more stability. Now instead of having one big plastic rear bumper, they've added these fake venties to make it appear wider when looking at it from the back. It also has your turn signals in the actual rear taillight and not down here like in the front. These are just reflectors. Kind of weird that they did that, I prefer to have LEDs back here to indicate like the front does. As you open up the European-inspired power trunk that allows you to also lock the vehicle and walk away, you will notice you have a lot of depth, 44 inches to be exact. That is awesome for something that looks like this. Back seat of the CX-50. Check out these doors. They open up to 90 degrees. Yes, what is important is getting in and out of the vehicle. We say it all the time. That is why people want an SUV. And this is super easy because look at this door that opens up like this. As far as quality goes in the back here, it's decent. Again, we're so used to reviewing really high-end product. Sometimes we get a bit jaded with that. You know what's a first? Mazda with their panoramic sunroof. This is a first for them. What they've been doing all this time. No idea, but they have it, which is nice to have. Now, in the back here, this is important because this is 40 and that is 60, which is weird because on the CX-5, it's 40, 20, 40. I wonder when they make that change. I know, because it's longer. Look at this legroom. I got a ton of legroom. Tons and tons of tons. I do lose a little bit of headroom with the CX-5, but I'm happy because I'm a short guy. And we're cool with that. They do have vents in the back here, which is nice to have as opposed to just on the bottom. They do have heated seats, 3 increments, and then 2 USBs on the back, which is a good spot. It feels really nice with this terracotta leather. It does have this embroidered piece that goes through the center of the seat that for some it may bother them because it does actually stick up and it's not as flush as it appears to be. And when I put this armrest down, I do have 2 cup holders, and when I sit back and relax while my buddy drives, I realize that I have 12 speakers with my Bose audio. This so feels like a Subaru Forester. This color is Subaru Forester. But when I get inside, this is a lot better than a Subaru Forester. Now, it feels very similar to Ian's Mazda 3, especially the steering wheel because it's pretty much identical. This cluster is pretty much identical with the exception of having a red little outline around the Sport. But it's where this part sort of makes me feel weird because these vents sort of feel like a bus. And this plastic piece here is weird because it's offsetted by this one individual vent that is this small. And underneath it, it looks like this vinyl wrap has been taken from a 1979 Camaro. That part, not my favorite. But what is good is I have a dead pedal for my left leg now. I actually have really comfortable and supportive seats, really good arm positioning, and I just feel good because it's small, compact, yet I know I have a lot of room when I got out of the back seat. It now adds a touch feature on its 10.25 screen when you have wireless CarPlay or wireless Android Auto. It also has the same similar HVAC controls as Ian has on his Mazda, but I do have ventilated seats as well, not just heated seats, and 3 increments. And down here you have Mazda's intelligent drive that gives you 3 modes: Sport, Normal, and of course Off-Road, which is new because this is an off-roady type vehicle. Unless of course you plug a trailer in and then Sport goes away and gives you trailer. And lower again you have all the same stuff as Ian's Mazda. And below you have a rotary knob that controls the 10.25 inch screen with some hard buttons with navigation, map, radio, and of course, auto hold, my favorite. And I almost missed the wireless charging because it's hidden underneath this center console here, which actually opens up in 2 separate parts. And this is an iPhone 12 Max Pro and does it fit? So the big guy, and it fits perfectly. There is a little bit of room on either side, so you could have a phone theoretically a little bit bigger than this guy. She fits. Considering I just came from off-roading, which is super smooth, this is very smooth. I mean, I wish the engine or the transmission was a little bit more lively. It feels just a little bit lethargic, even though it makes those numbers, but it just doesn't feel there. But the turning in and the cornering and when I touch the throttle, it moves, but it's the cornering that really makes me feel good. It just feels safe and makes me feel like a Mazda. So all in all, my takeaways of the Mazda CX-50 is that it's premium, inside feels good, minus the weird dash piece. I'm really interested to see what they're going to do with this front license plate that covers the radar. That just seems like an afterthought to me, but we'll find out how it goes for them. As far as throttle and response goes, it's decent, not bad, can't totally complain about that. Would I buy one? Maybe with this new Meridian package coming out that has these cool decals on the front hood, and it looks awesome because that's what's going to attract people to the CX-50 is the looks. And of course, some of the outdoorsy part that they're trying to pitch. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video on this Mazda CX-50. And if you're new to our channel, we'd love if you'd subscribe. And if you like our merch, well, we'd love if you buy some. Voila. Thanks for watching.